Jed, with Tesla up 8% right now, talk about the financial implications. Does it hurt? Does it drag on profitability in the near term? How are you looking at this new Gigafactory?
Yeah, I mean, thanks for having me, Sarah. So let's just take a step back for a second. I'm down here in Houston at this power electronics conference, so the guts that go into these Teslas. And I'm doing this interview on an iPhone. And when I focused on the cell phones, most pundits said, never imagined that I'd be able to do what I'm doing today with you here on an iPhone back in 2002. And so I think the context, thank you very much. So I think the context of what Tesla is doing is we have to look at it through the eyes of a manufacturing juggernaut that we have not seen since Henry Ford with assembly lines changed and created the automotive industry that we know today. And so when we look at Austin and we look at, which is going to be coming online in a couple of weeks, when we look at Berlin, which is going to double their manufacturing, and we look at electrification as a bigger trend and the value that that brings to the market, I can't help but think that these are all positives with respect to Tesla. And it also reduces the geopolitical risk that we're now seeing increased tensions from Russia, Ukraine, and China as well.
Because what they were using the Shanghai factory and shipping cars from China to Europe. Now they could theoretically now just supply them the European demand from the European factories. What sort of opportunity does that represent?
Well, two things. You're exactly right. So first, over 50% of the cars that they're producing now are coming from Shanghai. So you're going to reduce the dependence on China as that central low-cost hub for where you're shipping. Two, imagine all the embodied energy that's actually attached to floating these cars on a ship all around the world and being able to regionalize and with local manufacturing. And lastly, these are going to be cars that are moving to the 4680. And a lot of people don't understand this. That's just the size of the battery. But it's really important because in our view, it creates an Apple-esque type strategy here, which opens up other markets, namely the markets that they haven't been doing much in, which is energy storage and battery backup. We haven't seen much, but they've said that they've been supply constrained on the 2170s. And so this opens that market up for them. And we think that's going to be an area of growth to augment the automotive growth that they're going to be more than doubling.
That's what I was going to ask about, because all of the EV companies now, Jed, are supply constrained, are they not, with the price of the materials that go into batteries spiking and a lot of them stuck in Russia and Ukraine? Elon Musk has complained about this on Twitter. Where does Tesla stand relative to other EV competitors when it comes to dealing with these issues and potentially raising prices?
Yeah, so Tesla's raised prices across the board. They're not going to be immune from the supply chain challenges. I don't think any companies are going to be immune. You're going to see that flow through. However, one of the things that Tesla's done really well is they've looked at a system design, which other companies are starting to do, but Tesla's way out in front of the pack. So, for example, using silicon carbide for their inverter to get more out of the electrons that are going into the batteries, which allows you to get to a smaller battery pack or to reduce the amount of copper to lightweight the vehicle. Those are going to be things that are going to become more important. That's why I'm at this conference down here in Houston, listening to these semiconductor companies talking about what the plans are actually going to be. So I think near term, Tesla is not going to be immune to the supply chain challenges. We think that's going to create opportunities with the volatility to buy on pullbacks. But I think when we look longer term, it's clear to us that the trend towards electrification, which includes transportation as well as decentralized electrification on the generation for solar and battery backup, are clear winners in terms of a much larger trend.
So you're buying on the dips. Tesla's still down about 6% for the year. It's 20% off the highs, but it is surging right now and had a good month or so here.
Yeah, I mean, I think in this market, we have a buy, we have a $1,200 price target, but recognize it's like the pilot coming on the flight saying there's going to be turbulence. There's going to be a lot of choppiness. Our macro strategist, Tony Dwyer, has talked about that and actually has been proficient in calling a lot of these trends. We do think that things are going to be bumpy, but we would be buyers on pullback because this is where the puck's going to be going.